Yesterday we looked at many important points from the philosophy of the 13th chapter of the Gita. There are a couple of verses left out that I didn't have time to cover yesterday, so I'll bring those up now. Yesterday we saw that Shree Krishn was explaining about God, the souls, and Maya, using some terminology like Kshetra and Kshetragya and Prakriti and Purush. He also uses another word, Paramatma. Paramatma and Atma. This word Atma comes in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, and many different places. It has a double meaning. Atma can be used either for God or for the souls. Because Atma means that which pervades. So we saw Krishna was saying that he pervades everything, so he can also be called Atma. But our soul, each individual soul, also pervades the whole body. The effect of the soul pervades the entire body. The whole body receives this Chaitanya Guna from the soul. Just like if you put a candle at one place in this room when it's totally dark, the whole room is illuminated by the candle, even though the candle is only at one place. Similarly, our soul is only here, yet it illuminates or gives life to our entire body, so it also pervades our whole body. So the individual soul is called Atma, and God is also called Atma. It simply depends on the context. When you see the word Atma coming in any mantra or any shlok, you have to take it in context to understand whether it's referring to God or to an individual soul. The souls are generally referred to as being Jivatma. Then you know. If you see the word Jivatma, it's just talking about a soul. And if you see the word Paramatma, that means God. Paramatma, the supreme soul of all the souls, because even though our soul permeates our body, God permeates our soul. And he permeates every soul. So he is called the soul of our soul. Just like our soul gives life to our body, God is within our soul giving life to our soul. So he is called the Supreme Soul or Paramatma, and we are simply souls. So telling more about Paramatma, Sri Krishna says, Upadrashta numanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwarah Paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purusha parah. He says that purusha parah, you need to turn it down a little more. This purush we learned about yesterday. Purush means it can also be used for either soul or God. We have Param Purush, meaning Supreme God, but sometimes it's just used in short. Purush means a living, sentient being is Purush. So it could be God, could be a soul. But Param Purush means God. So here Purusha Parah means the Supreme Purush, the Supreme Divine Personality of God. Shri Krishna says, Paramatmeti chapyukto. It is also referred to by the name Paramatma. So what about this Param Purush or Paramatma? He says, first of all, Upadrashta. He sees everything. Anumanta cha. Everything happens because of him. Bharta, he is supporting and maintaining the existence of everything. Bhokta, bhokta. Some of these words are a little confusing. Maheshwara, he's the Ish of all the Ishas. He is the Lord of all the Lords. He's the father of all the fathers. He is Maheshwar. Let's look at a couple of these words. Upadrashta, that one's easy to understand. God is everywhere. He's all-knowing. He sees everything, just like we saw in the verse we looked at yesterday, that He has eyes everywhere, because He's omnipresent. So He sees and knows everything. He's Upadrashta. Anumanta, you can say that He's the governor of everything. Nothing can happen without Him. People say nothing, not even a leaf can tremble without the will of God. Nothing can happen without the will of God. What does this mean? This can be a confusing concept for some people. People wonder, does that mean that God wills everything to happen? Whatever I'm thinking, it's only because God is willing me to think that. Whatever I desire, God is willing me to desire that. Whatever I say is because God willed me to say that. Whatever I do, God willed me to do it. Is that what it means? Anumanta? He's making me do everything. He is Niyanta. We are Niyamya. Means He's the controller. We are controlled by Him. The answer is yes and no. He's not controlling our thoughts or words or actions or any of those things. He's not willing us to desire or think or say or do anything. But since He's the one enabling the existence of all of this, so that word is used for Him. You learned yesterday that God activates the Mayic energy, that Mool Prakriti, the Avyakt energy. God activates it. Maya is His power after all. So He activates it, and with that power Maya receives from God, it evolves into the form of the universe, and God becomes omnipresent in it and keeps giving the power to Maya to continue to exist in this vyakt form, in this manifested form. And when He decides, He withdraws the power and Maya dissolves back into its dormant state, and this cycle keeps going on. So, who else is responsible? God is responsible. He initiates the activity of Maya. He enables its continued existence in this manifested state, and in the end, He dissolves it. So, He is Anumanta. He is the one controlling all of that. He's also giving life to us. But is He the one controlling our actions? No. He gives life to us, but He doesn't control us. So if on one hand saying nothing can happen without the will of God, it's correct. This universe can't exist without the will of God. Without the will of God, we would not have life. It's His grace that He's within us, giving us life. Without His grace, we could not perform any action or think anything. It's only because He's giving us life that we can do that. Yet, He's not controlling us. That's important to understand. So that's why there's a subtlety to the knowledge. Saying it happens with the will of God is only correct to a certain extent. Okay, without the will of God, I wouldn't even have the power to perform actions. That's true. But having given me that power to perform actions, He doesn't decide what I do with it. There's a verse in the Brahma Sutra that says, Paratu tat shrute. It means the same thing. God gives life to the souls. He doesn't control what karma they do, having received that. Think of it like the rain that falls from the clouds on the soil and soaks the soil on a nice warm day and causes some seeds to germinate. Let's say one of those seeds was the seed of a poisonous plant, that if you eat it, you die. And another seed was the seed of a rice plant. That germinated and started to grow. Or an apple tree. Is it the fault of the rain that that poisonous plant grew? No, the rain is giving its wetness to everyone, freely, without discrimination. It depends on the quality of that seed, what's going to come out of it once the rain falls. Similarly, God gives life to all the souls, but then what does a soul do with that? That's up to that soul. God is not to blame for our actions. We're fully responsible for everything we do and think. There's another word, bhokta, which can be understood with a similar logic. Bhokta means to experience. We talked yesterday how the soul, with the mind and senses, experiences this world, the objects of this world. Now the objects of the world are made of maya or prakriti, and our senses and mind are also made of the same energy, the same prakriti. So it's like an interplay of prakriti within prakriti, which doesn't give the soul any kind of satisfaction. Nonetheless, using our senses and mind, we're able to experience this world. So from that point of view, we are bhokta, are we not? In fact, the Upanishad says that God is prerak and we are bhokta. Bhokta bhogyam preritarancha matva sarvam proktam trividham brahmame tat. Vedas say we're bhokta. Maya is bhogya, the world, that's what we experience. And Bhagwan is preritarancha matva, he's prerak. So again, the word prerak should not be misunderstood. Ura prerak raghuvansha vibhushana. The Ramayana also says Ram is sitting in everyone's heart and he is the prerak. So what does that mean? Does that mean he's initiating thoughts in our mind? Whatever we think, it's because he made us think it? No. He's the prerak, means he's giving us life. It's with the power he gives to us that we're able to think and perform actions. So it's with the power he gives to us that we're able to experience this world. That's why he's also referred to as bhokta. It can be a confusing term. But anyway, Shree Krishna is describing that Paramatma is everywhere, he's within every soul, he gives life to them, he observes everything they're doing, but he's not interfering. Then he gives the results of the karma as well. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyaya sharirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. Here telling more about Paramatma, Sri Krishna says, na karoti. He does nothing. See, that clarifies. He says, sharirasthopi. Even though he is in the body, remember at the beginning of this chapter, the 13th chapter, Krishna said, what is kshetra? Kshetra is the body. And the body can mean the physical body of a soul. It can also mean the entire universe is said to be the body of God because he inhabits or pervades every particle of this universe. So, sharirasthopi, even though he is in each and every body of every soul, you could even say, Ved even says, Yasyatma shariram, yasyaksharam shariram. Our soul is like a body for God. Just like our soul is inside our physical body, God is inside our soul. So even though he's within everything, he's within every soul, he's within your physical body, he's within this entire universe, yet na lipyate, he's not attached to anything, and he's unaffected by the material qualities. See, he's within our soul, but na karoti. He's not doing anything. We're the ones doing. And na lipyate. He's unaffected by our actions. We do good, we do bad. It doesn't change anything for God. God is God. He's blissful and beyond everything material. So neither is he affected, nor does he actually cause any soul to do anything or think anything. Shree Krishna clarified that here. So these are the main points I wanted to cover here in the 13th chapter. The 14th chapter actually expounds more on some of the same topics. It expands the same explanation. In the 14th chapter, we actually learn about the three gunas of Maya. Sattva, Raj, Tam. Shree Krishna says, Sattvam rajas tam iti guna prakriti sambhava nibadhnanti mahabaho dehesmin dehinam avyayam. He says, you heard he used the word prakriti. So that prakriti is again used for Maya. He says that everything produced by Prakriti, in fact, has these three gunas. Sattva, Raj, Tam. Sattva, in English, you could say the pure or positive quality of Maya. Raj is in between, and Tam is negative, or the bad quality. He explains in detail what these qualities are and what do they mean for us? How do they affect us? How is it relevant in our life? So if you think about it, everything produced by Maya has these three qualities. In fact, you could say, see, in its initial dormant phase, that Prakriti, Maya, it's absolutely dormant. Like an absolute nothingness, you could say, but the energy's there in a dormant form. The first thing that happens when Shree Krishna activates Maya, there's like a halchal, some activity starts. So what actually happens is these three gunas, which were dormant, they now manifest separately as Sattva, Raj, and Tam. So in fact, you could say that Maya itself is Sattva, Raj, Tam. It doesn't just have these three qualities, it in fact is those three qualities. Something like if this shawl was woven from three different color threads. So it doesn't just have three different colors, it actually is made of those three different colors. Maya is itself made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. And Sri Krishna says, Dhananti. The individual soul, which he refers to as Avyayam, eternal and indestructible, is nonetheless bound by these three qualities of Maya. It's our situation, our eternal situation. No soul ever became bound by Maya. There's only two situations in which a soul can exist, either bound by Maya or free from Maya. If you're free from Maya, you're with God. And if you're bound by Maya, you're not experiencing God. If you're with God, you can never come under Maya. Maya does not have the strength to overpower God. Okay? Maya is a servant of God. So any soul who is God realized is beyond the reach of Maya. So, since we're under Maya today, we're under the effect of Maya, it means we've always been bound by Maya. So we're bound by these three qualities. How do they bind us? Well, like I explained, how do we experience anything? Through our senses, body, and mind. And what are those things made of? Maya. They're made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. My body is made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. My mind is made of Sattva, Raj, Tam. My senses are made of sattva, raj, tam, and without them, I can't see, I can't think, I can't do anything. So I'm bound by this maya. It's like a catch-22. Someone could say, okay, I don't want my mayic body, mayic senses, mayic mind. Okay, that's what happens in Mahapralaya. All of that dissolves. Then what do you have? No, you don't experience anything. You're not God-realized either. To get God-realized, you need to get a divine mind and senses. Then you can experience God. So that doesn't happen in Mahapralaya. You're just, all your material faculties are dissolved. So that's not good either. What's the use of that state? You're not even aware of your own existence. So we need our mayic senses, body and mind, yet at the same time they're binding us because with them we can't experience God. Krishna explains more. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha evacha pramada mohau tamaso bhavato jnanam avyayam bhavato jnanam evacha. He explains that this sattva raj tam, since our very mind is made of sattva raj tam, there's kind of like a constant battle going on in our mind between these three qualities. Sometimes sattva predominates, so then raj and tam are suppressed. If raj predominates, then sattva and tam are suppressed. And if tam predominates, sattva and raj are suppressed. So only one quality at any one time predominates in the mind. And it keeps changing. It's like three wrestlers in a ring. One gets on top, holds the other two down, then one gets free, gets on top, holds the other two down. It's a constant battle going on in our mind. So Shree Krishna says, Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. He's describing what is the quality which is exhibited in a person in whose mind sattva gun predominates. He says jnana, knowledge. See, think of the mind like a pane of glass, like we have this glass here. The glass can be perfectly clean, so you can see straight through. The light comes straight through from the other side. You see everything clearly when you look through the glass. It can be a little bit dirty, so that things on the other side are slightly obscured, but still some light is getting through. Or it can be so dirty that the glass itself becomes opaque and no light whatsoever gets through. This is like different states of the human mind. Our material mind is somewhere along that gradient of being extremely dirty or being very pure. We're somewhere along that gradient. So you can't say that there's no person who's only sattvic, because even within sattva gun, the seed of raj and tam is there. Within rajogun, the seed of sattva and tam is there, and within tamogun, the seed of sattva and raj is there. So as long as a person is mayic, he has all three gunas, definitely. But you can develop the sattva gun more, so that it's more predominant in your mind, and the raj and tam are more reduced or suppressed. So such a person is said to have a more pure mind. If you develop the sattva guna of your mind is purifying. Raj and tam tend toward, tam is definitely the impure quality. So if you develop tamogun, that means your mind is becoming more impure. Rajogun also tends toward the negative side. I'll explain why in a minute. So sattvat sanjayate jnanam. See, the nature of the soul is goodness. The soul is a part of God, is eternally related to God, and is divine. So the nature of the soul is goodness. The nature of the soul is to love goodness. Even a thief does not like to be stolen from. It means that thief also likes goodness. It's only because of the rajas quality of his mind and tamas quality of his mind. The rajas quality causes lobh, Krishna says, means desire, greed, desire for more of the world. So if that desire is strong enough, even though he doesn't like to be stolen from, he will steal from another in order to fulfill his own desire. But it's not that he likes thievery. No, he doesn't. If he did, he would also thank you for stealing something from him. A violent person does not like to have others become violent against him. So everybody likes all the good qualities, or you can say godly qualities. It's our nature. So the soul has a natural devotional quality. You can say, at the core of it, the soul loves God and wants to experience God. That's the natural devotional quality of the soul. Now, as I explained yesterday, soul and mind are so tightly bound up together, so the quality of the soul is naturally transferred into the mind. That love for God, or that desire for God, is transferred into the mind. But how clearly is it transferred? That depends on how clean your pane of glass is. How pure is your mind? So in a sattvic mind, the more sattvic your mind is, the more clearly that knowledge shines forth that I want God. We all feel an inner desire for something, but sometimes that desire becomes distorted, and a person, even after having it explained to them, can't understand or accept that their true inner desire is for God, not for this world. What determines the extent of a person's ability to accept that? How pure their mind is. The more purity, the more sense it makes right off the bat. More impurity, less sense it's going to make, because it just becomes distorted. You can say the light of God, the light of the soul, becomes distorted as it enters the mind. So the more sattvic your mind is, the more the knowledge, like the knowledge of the Gita, makes sense and you can accept it. Lobh comes from Rajogun. See, the desire to enjoy things is a natural desire. It comes from the initial desire of the soul to find perfect happiness by experiencing God. Until we find that perfect happiness, we will never feel at peace. We will never rest. That's why our mind is always restless. But in the sattvic mind, that desire is turned towards God. In the rajas mind, there's enough of a distortion that the mind doesn't understand that our initial desire is for God, and the mind just says, oh, let me enjoy the world. So it keeps straining to enjoy more and more of the world. It becomes extremely agitated in its desire to get more of the world. And even while enjoying the world, even that is a state of agitation of the mind. And then when we're done enjoying, we're still not fully satisfied, so we get re-agitated again to get more. This is called greed or lobh. And that goes on multiplying. This is a natural outcome of this rajas quality. What I just described to you is the state of mind of most of us in the world. Although people shift, they may be in a sattvic frame of mind for some time, but most of the time we're in this rajas frame of mind, thinking about how to enjoy more of this world. Through our five senses, we try to enjoy different things in the world. What about when the tamas quality is activated, or it's more predominant, suppressing rajagun and sattvagun? Then pramada mohau agyan. The opposite of gyan is agyan, total ignorance. In a tamas person's mind, there's a total rejection of the spiritual philosophy. It's not acceptable to him. He doesn't want to hear about God. In the Rajas individual, there's an action, an activity, but that activity is directed towards simply trying to get more of the world for his own enjoyment. In a Sattvic individual, there's also activity, but it's an activity within calmness, meaning from inside we're calm, but we're actively engaged in doing what we have to in the world. And our desire is turned more towards the spiritual side. In a tamas individual, pramad means like that feeling you get when you just think, I don't care. Like let's say someone is in such a state of hatred for someone else. They want to kill that person. And they just don't care. Yes, I may get caught. I may get put in jail for the rest of my life, but I don't care. It's a kind of pramad. You're just intoxicated with that effect of tamogun. Heedless from any consequence of what may happen to you or anyone else, it doesn't matter. Moha means the attachments of the mind become so great that a person can't discriminate between right and wrong properly. He can't make the right decision because his attachment to people and to things is clouding his mind. And agyan, he doesn't accept any kind of correct spiritual philosophy. Tamogun also results in, when tamogun is active in our mind, we feel lazy and apathetic. So when you're feeling like that, you can know it's the effect of tamogun. When you're feeling like, we feel vyakulta to get something to enjoy in this world, that's the effect of rajogun. And when we're feeling more calm and drawn towards spiritual things, towards goodness, towards helping others, that's the effect of sattva. Now, Shree Krishna says, because every thought and every action is going to be in one of these three categories. It's either going to be tamas or rajas or sattvic. And with every thought we have, it's creating a sanskar, a subtle imprint on our mind of that quality, either tamas or rajas or sattvic. So our mind is constantly changing, meaning it's becoming more pure or less pure. We're developing more of the tamas, or more of the rajas, or more of the sattvic quality. So at the time of death, Sri Krishna says, at that time, whatever is your predominating consciousness, accordingly you'll be reborn. So if you've developed the sattvic quality of your mind, urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaghanya gunavrittistho adho gachanti tamasa. You can go to Swarg if you have developed that sattvic quality of your mind. In the previous chapters, here Sri Krishna is not getting into the details of Swarg because he's covered it in previous chapters of the Gita. That Swarg is only a sattvic manifestation of Maya, so it's not a divine lok, it's not God's divine abode. In English we call it heaven or the celestial abodes. It's a temporary place. It's also destroyed when the universe is dissolved. And souls who go over there, they stay temporarily, enjoying the outcome of all of their sattvic actions. But they come back into this middle abode. Swarg is the outcome or the product of the sattvagun. This world has a more predominance of rajogun, and then narak, in English we call it hell, that is the product of tamogun. So one's mind who is more established in the rajas quality, he'll be reborn in this world. and the one who is established in Tamoguna, Sri Krishna says, Adho Gachanti. He goes down, so it means either into the lower species on this earth planet, where there's more suffering, or into Narak, which is also a temporary jail sentence, you can say, as a punishment for tamas actions. So this is the outcome of developing these qualities in our mind. It not only affects us immediately, because it affects our mind and our thinking, but it has a karmic consequence in the future, because it determines how we're going to be reborn, into what situation we'll be reborn in our next life. Now, after explaining all of this, Sri Krishna says, Gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. However, he says, there is something beyond these three gunas, because the three gunas are binding. Nibadhananti, the soul is bound by these three gunas. Sattvagun sounds good, right? But still, it's not enough to get free from Maya. Even Sattvagun is a quality of Maya. So even if you're established in Sattvagun, the best you can do is go to Swarg, and eventually you come back here. So whether you're in Sattvagun, or Rajagun, or Tamogun, you're still bound by Maya. But Sri Krishna says, he is beyond Maya. So the one who reaches him has to go beyond Maya. Gunebhyascha param veti. The one who knows that which is beyond the three gunas, sodhigacchati. Madbhavam sodhigacchati. He comes to me and stays with me. So Krishna is indicating that these three gunas where we exist now, there's not perfect happiness within this field. We have to go beyond that field and reach him. He also says, Brahmano hi pratishthaha mamritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ekantikasya cha. He's talking about himself. I actually quoted this verse yesterday as well. He's saying that Nirakar Brahm is actually established in him. He is the pratishtha of formless God. It is his own emanation. It does not exist separately from him. As well, he says, Shashvatasya cha dharmasya. The Shashvat dharma. We normally use the word Sanatan dharma. The eternal dharma is also established within him. Vedavyasji writes in the Bhagavatam, Vasudeva paro dharma. Sri Krishna is the source of dharma and the ultimate goal of dharma. In Kathopanishad, it is said, Sarve Vedayat Padamamananti. Every mantra of the Vedas is only taking you towards Sri Krishna. It's all to take you to Krishna. So he is the root, the mool of all dharma, and he is the goal of all dharma. Means he's the source of all dharma. And by following dharma, what do you get? You're supposed to reach him. So he says, the dharma is also established in me, and sukhasya ekantikasya cha. The divine happiness is also a part of him. He is sadghana, chidaghana, anandaghana. He is the absolute source of divine bliss. He himself is the form of divine bliss. In other words, he's indicating he's beyond Maya. So the soul who comes to him reaches him, and when the soul reaches him, the soul gets perfect happiness. That's the happiness our soul wants, because our soul is divine, so it can only desire divine happiness. But to get that divine happiness, we have to go beyond the three gunas of Maya. But how do we go beyond the three gunas of Maya? Again, it's paradoxical. It's a catch-22. What do we have with which to perform any action? We have our Mayic body, senses, and mind. So with our Mayic body, senses, and mind, how will we perform any action that can take us beyond Maya? It's impossible. It seems totally beyond our ability. A Mayic mind can only think of Mayic things. We cannot go beyond Maya. It would be like a sword trying to cut itself, or an acrobat trying to sit on his own shoulders. You can't do it. With a Mayic mind, you can't do anything to get yourself beyond Maya. So Arjun here, he asks a question. He says, Shri Krishna, what is that person like? Because Krishna just told him, someone who goes beyond the 3 gunas reaches him. So tell me, what is that person like? What are the characteristics of such a person who's gone beyond the 3 gunas of Maya? Now this is probably not what Arjun was exactly expecting, what Krishna answered. Prakashancha pravrittincha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. He says, Arjun, okay, suppose there's an individual, he's beyond the 3 gunas. He's now reached God, but he's still living in this world. Okay, let's say one of us, we reach God, but we're still living in this world. So technically, although we're here in the world, we're beyond the 3 gunas of Maya. Shri Krishna says, the effect of sattva, raj, and tam may also seem to be seen in his behavior, in his body. But from inside, he has no effect. He's untouched by sattva, raj, tam. Yet, if we're observing him, we would think, oh, just like any of you can observe any person in this world, and you can say, oh, he must be under the effect of sattva gun right now. You're all sitting here listening to a spiritual lecture. You must all be under the effect of sattva gun. That's how you decided to come here today. Someone else in your family, you might have invited them to come and they said, no, my favorite show is on TV tonight. Tonight American Idol is on, or Kaun Banega Crorepati is on. So I'll just stay home and watch TV. So obviously in that person's mind you could deduce that Rajogun is prominent at that time. And another person just said, oh no, I'm too lazy, I don't... So you know, Tamogun is prominent in his mind. So you can observe someone's actions and judge. So Krishna is saying, if you try to judge the behavior of that person who is beyond the 3 gunas, it will appear to you that you're still seeing things. It's very confusing. He goes on to say that from inside he has no attachment to anything or desire for anything. Tulya priya priya. For him, a good thing and a bad thing are the same. Tulya ninda and stuti. Whether you do his ninda or his stuti, it's all the same to him. Sama dukkha sukha stha. Happiness and unhappiness are the same to him in a worldly sense. And samaloshta. He says for him a piece of dirt and a piece of gold are of equal value. So here he's describing his internal state. That since that saint is established, his mind is one with God, he's experiencing divine bliss, he has no need for anything from this world. Because he's got divine bliss inside, so why does it matter to him if you insult him or you praise him? It makes no difference to him. That's just external input, right? We look to the world for external things that we can see or hear or touch or taste or feel to give us happiness. That saint, that one established in God, makes no difference to him if you slap him or hug him. It doesn't matter. He's not looking for anything from you. You give him a piece of gold or you give him a bag of dirt, it's the same to him because he doesn't need that to be happy. Whether it's a pleasant situation, 105 degrees with 100% humidity, or it's a nice 72 degrees air-conditioned home with a nice soft couch to sit on, makes no difference to him inside. Yet, Shree Krishna is saying from outside you may see that one whose mind is established in God, he may say, I'm hungry. I feel like eating rasgulla. That seems like the effect of Rajogun, right? He wants to enjoy something. He may say, oh no, I'm too tired right now. I'm going to lie down and take a nap. The effect of Tamogun. Or he may be seen to be active, awake, alert, yet peaceful. The effect of Sattvagun, right? No, wrong. In every case. He's living in this world, so he acts and behaves with us. Prahlad, Dhruv, Ambarish, these are all examples from our history of God-realized saints who ruled kingdoms and even fought wars. How do you fight a war if you don't have greed? Right? You fight a war, you go and conquer someone because you want their land. That's greed. No, there was no Rajogun, Tamogun, or even Sattvagun within any of those historical saints. Yet they did tamas-looking actions, rajas-looking actions, sattvic-looking actions. It's because, what are they going to do? They're physically here, they're going to do something physically, right? And then we'll judge according to our intellect. Oh yes, that's a tamas action, that's rajas, that's sattvic. But what makes it rajas or tamas or sattvic is the motivation behind it, not just the physical movement of the body. And since that God-realized saint is beyond sattvic, rajas or tamas motivations, so in fact he's not doing any karma. Whether he's fighting a war or taking a nap, it doesn't count for anything for him. So he's completely beyond those three gunas of Maya. That's why a saint cannot perform any more karma. I mean, as someone who's God-realized, it doesn't count as karma for him because his mind is in God. He has no reason to perform any more karma. He's already attained divine bliss. Whatever a God-realized saint does is only motivated out of a desire to help other souls also find God. So it's motivated by kindness or the desire to help others, not for his own personal benefit. God performs actions for the same reason. He doesn't need to do anything. He's beyond the three gunas and he himself is the form of bliss. Yet he takes avatar, he comes here and performs all kinds of actions. Why? Also, only for the benefit of the souls. Mukhyam tasya hi karunyam, Shandilya Maharshi says, all of God's actions are only motivated by his akarana karuna, his causelessly gracious nature. So Sri Krishna is describing this to Arjun that, well, you want to know what is that person like who has gone beyond the three gunas of Maya? Well, Arjun, it's very hard to tell or discern what is he like because his physical behavior will look like everybody else's, but from inside, he's beyond material things. He's beyond the three gunas. In fact, his mind itself has become divine. So the material quality of his mind is finished. He has no more sattva, raj, tam in his mind. He has a divine mind, just like God's. In the end, Sri Krishna tells us what we have to do to reach that state. Because as I said, it seems very difficult. It seems not next to impossible, it seems totally impossible that one would be able to go beyond Maya, because we are bound by Maya, and our very senses and mind are Mayic. So just like a person is tied up to a tree very tightly with rope, he can't untie himself. What is he going to do to get untied? We are all bound up in this Maya. What will we do to get free from Maya? Shree Krishna explains at the very end of the 14th chapter. However, I'm going to save that for tomorrow. So you'll hear that tomorrow, as well as the philosophy of the 15th chapter. So come and join us again. Boliye Vrindavan.